Hey guys, it's Gino. I am coming at you to give you 4 fights that are just standing off the page for me for UFC Fight Night, Santos versus Hill. Before I get started, I wanted to give my buddy Evan a shout out for being able to take down the Minimax in June. He was super pumped about that. I'm hoping we can continue that success. I know other people have had successes, and one thing I'm going to ask is that you guys go ahead and send me screenshots so that I can give you shout outs, so I can just see how well we're doing. It's very important to me that everybody experiences some success, and I have a lot of fun doing this. So with that being said, if you could subscribe to my channel, because I swear to goodness, if I look at my ratings and I see all these returning viewers that are not subscribers, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm just going to lose it. Just it's a button and you just click on it and it says subscribe. Also, hit the notification so that you can know when I'm putting out content. I try to put out 3 videos a week prior to fight day. My goal is to have everything out by Thursday so that you guys have plenty of time to digest it and that we can talk about everything. And finally, like this video and then tell me what the fight you are most excited for as of the beginning of this week. So we'll get right into it. I have Santos versus Hill. This is an interesting fight. It's a 5-round fight, and you see Jamal Hill. He's coming in. He's a prospect. He's a rising star. He's pretty good. But Thiago Santos is quite experienced. When you are able to go to a split decision versus the GOAT, John Jones, able to go to 3 rounds versus Texera, but he did get submitted in that fight. But then you look at Rakic, he lost the decision. Ankalaev, he lost the decision. He's tough, and he can go the distance. And then you look at his wins. He beat Kevin Holland by decision. He beat Blachowicz, TKO in round 3. Walker beat him by decision. So he's got some quality wins on his resume. It's not like he's just going to be some walk through the park. I think, and that's why they're pairing these two up. We want to see how really good Jamal Hill is, because if you look at Jamal Hill, his one loss was a KO to Paul Craig, which, Paul Craig has that way of doing those things, but that's a stain on his record in my opinion, and that makes me feel like there's more value with Santos because he's plus 220, and I just don't think that it's that out of the question for him to win this fight. So with that being said, I'm going to bet Thiago Santos. I'm going to do a same game parlay. I'm going to go over 2.5 rounds and bet him to get a TKO here. I'm going all in on the fight because I think either guy's going to score well. The one thing is Jamal Hill, I do see him being above 9K, but it's a 5-round fight. So I think there's worse people you can invest in. So with that said, I am going all in for DraftKings. Going to make sure I have a piece of this fight in every lineup. And I do see myself possibly setting a 5% stack rule in the domination station so that I could have them both together, because there are worlds where they could both be score well and then end up optimal. You have Jason Witt versus Josh Quinlan. I am actually going to go with the dog here. So the plus 180 dog in Jason Witt. I know he's got chin issues. It's very clear. But he's also a good wrestler. He could get a decision here if he can manage to stay safe and not get tagged by a guy in Quinlan who has the ability to knock him out. He'll be okay. Now Quinlan, on the other hand, he's got the knockout power. He's mainly fought in LFA. He's got finishes, 5 finishes in LFA. He had a no contest against Logan Urban in the Dana White Contestant Series, and he's fighting a guy with chin issues, and he's got KO power. So I see why he's a favorite. But I think the value's with Witt. And so, especially if he can manage to get him to the ground. Now, the one thing is, Quinlan has the ability to get up. He's got a good, decent get-up game. So that's going to be tough for him to keep him down. But I do think that this fight's closer than what they're leading us on to. So with that being said, I think if Witt can get a decision with a lot of wrestling, he could score well. I think Quinlan can score well, especially if he can get an early finish. So with that said, I'm going to be well invested into both guys for DraftKings. Terrence McKinney versus Eric Gonzalez. Now, I like McKinney. He's minus 850. If I had to bet something, I'd look at the under 2.5 or him getting a KO, TKO early. That also like the round 1, round 2. That might have some value to it. Now, he got knocked out himself by Dober, but Dober showed that he does that to people. He did that to Alves, who's a pretty good fighter. Now, prior to that, he had 5 round 1 finishes in a row, so he could pay well. Now, he's minus 850, so that tells us that he'll probably be expensive on DraftKings when it comes to that investment. So I I'll be interested to see how that all pans out. Now he's been finished in all 4 of his losses within the first 2 rounds, submission and KO, TKO. Now Gonzalez, on the other hand, he's 2-2 over his last 4. He has a decision loss to Jim Miller, and then Bandone, a decision loss. Then he has decision wins that do show durability, but they're not in UFC. He has several finishes, including 2 round 3 finishes. So he could, if he could extend this fight, maybe he could get a finish at the end. I'm just saying, definitely not somebody I'm going to bet on. But there are worse pump plays in DraftKings. He could, he could surprise us and score well, especially because he's going to most likely be in the $6,000 range. Finally, we have Bueno Silva versus Stephanie Egger. I like Bueno Silva. She's a finisher, but so is Stephanie Egger. Now, neither of them have been finished, but I could definitely see myself playing the under here because I could see one of these girls getting finished. Both of them, you got 10 fights and then you got 9 fights. Now, you look at Bueno Silva. She has striking but no takedown potential. But she can get submissions. She has 5 round ones. So she could come out on fire and put her down and get a submission early and score really well. And then you look at her decision win. She does have a decision win over Yanan Wu, who is 13-4. That's a competent fighter. And then you look at Egger. She has some losses. She has the 2 losses. Tracy Cortez, which I give her that she's pretty decent. Now she has 4 finishes in her last 5 wins, submission and TKO potential within the first 2 rounds. So I see either one of these girls. I don't see them being outrageously priced. They'll be in the $8,000 range. Or maybe one will be in the $7,000, one will be in the $8,000 because they're priced in close lines, and I don't think many people are going to pay much attention to this. With that, I think I can get leverage on the field, and this could possibly be a large field tournament winner, depending on what the ownership projections are. Now, that's it, guys. I appreciate you hanging in there with me. Again, leave me a comment. Let me know who you like, what fight you're liking going into this week. And if you are interested, we have DFS Army. We're going into football season. You get a free month. Besides that, for UFC, we have the research station. We have the cheat sheets. It's very, very user-friendly. As far as the research station, it literally has every stat you need. KO percent, decision percent, takedown rate. Anything you want to see, especially as it relates to DraftKings and scoring, it will help you. And then you have coach's notes as well. You can use my coupon code, 10% off, DFL Gino, and then the link is below. So click on that and go ahead and use my code if you're interested, and you will get a 10% discount. All right. Thanks, guys, and good luck.